Yeah, memory filled again. Entered into the slaughter was the last words of the sacrificial lamb. And that he knew was going to be taken and made him into the Son of God. He knew that the Romans and the Catholics were going to control people's minds. And he said, well, the best way to save the most of you is you've all been fooled. Every single one of us, or you, everyone on this planet, have been in a form of pollution, delusion, and confusion. And he just basically said, you know what I can do for you? I'm just going to sacrifice myself. And then all you need to do is focus yourself on the love that I am projecting for you. I want you to feel that vibration of, oh my God, that person is actually dying for me. And it's that emotion that would save Christianity. The humbled thought of, he did it for me. And it works. There's no wrong, there's no right. But a thinking human being cannot follow that sheep pattern because there's many other tricks. And sheep, when they trust the shepherd, lose their wool, which is okay, but then they're also the food. So you have to realize that not everyone can walk that path. He set it up for, he said, the meek, the humble, the ones that didn't have that fighting spirit to go against the ego matrix. He knew he couldn't get past it. He told stories which sowed seeds, and you imagine him telling people 2,000 years ago it's a holographic universe, like a computer game. Yeah, so he had it a lot harder. And by example, first thing everybody does is, well, you gotta be just like him. And it's like, how do you give all the lessons at once? So it takes many of us to give these lessons. Even Mick Jagger is a part of those lessons. You know, sympathy for the devil. You listen to the words. Who killed the Kennedys? Wasn't it just me and you? We did it all. When you really know the ultimate you create, you are all the characters. You did it all. And that's not like I pulled the trigger. It's like I was naive. I didn't believe. I trust the government. I didn't see through the deceptions. That's my contribution to me killing the Kennedys. And that's what where we are right now, because we're not 2,000 years ago. We can understand the holographic universe because we have a computer. I can speak to you in memory, RAM, CPU, speed, internet connections, and I can explain consciousness through a computer because we are actually a computer. So when I say now at this point in 2020 that me and you kill the Kennedys, you can now see, and I can explain that some of you will get, and the people that watch this far will get it. I know that. The people who, it's like, they're non-participating characters. It doesn't matter. These are the programs that run around going, um, we're running amok of this show because you're not in control. You have neglected everything. You think you're helpless. So, um, since the director is blind, we're just gonna run around and collect a paycheck. Non participating characters. So, the participating characters, the ones who are on your own journey, meaning that as you see that something is beyond this illusion of acting and you start to project into the future, there are others yous, and there may be just 144 other yous that are playing this game with you. They're all your friends in the other dimension, and they're all like, I mean, I know from my personal self, every time, every like more 4 years, 5 years ago, there were so many people coming up and dying. When I say dying, there's two people who were very close to me who died. And somebody close to me said that the other day, he says, I take this vision very serious because people have died. And so, there's a movie with Robin Williams in it where, thank you, Stephanie, for doing this to me. He had a perfect life. He loved his wife. I can't remember the name, but somebody's going to add it here in the comment section, I know. But his wife dies. No, he dies. And then his wife couldn't tolerate it and she committed suicide. So she doesn't go to heaven, she goes to purgatory. And he's in heaven waiting for her. And he's told that no, you won't see her. And that's all he ever lived for. So he had to go to hell or purgatory. And when he got down there, he knew that if he was to tell her who he was, he would fail the mission automatically. So he had to give her everything that he could without telling her who he was. And once he convinced her, that would align her in a truth, she would walk through that darkness and come out. And that's exactly where we are in our ego thought matrix. The ego thought matrix is our doubts, and the program is to project the doubts. And of course, it is a program running that has been programmed to take our illusion. So if you know you are the program, and I know I'm the program, and it's not easy because you can talk about it and you can theorize it, but to do it is another thing because you're still running in your subconscious programming, which has been the Loosh extraction program. But what I have done is, like, if it doesn't serve me, I have to rewrite it. But it looks like if it doesn't serve me and I rewrite it, it starts to mess up the outer reality. And I'm not supposed to keep the order of the outer reality. I am not, because I know ultimately the outer reality is the problem, what everyone else thinks. So to reprogram yourself to say, well, energy is no more needed from that direction, and therefore I am going to rewrite my energy for it to come from another direction. The outer reality has to do the same. And I know that this is what's happening right now. Is if I am doing it, I am not one. I am the collective consciousness. But I can only think on an individual basis of the me, the I, the one, to solve it. So I'm one perspective of millions or 144,000 or whatever, whichever way you think of the eyes in the matrix, meaning the observation points in the matrix of the observer field, is what we are. And every single point of access is just as important as any other. To see the whole picture, every eye is needed. And it cannot fix itself unless every eye is in truth. And so there is no more alignment with groups. There is alignment with yourself and the acceptance of all the other selves. This is the sovereign integral. And the acceptance of the other selves is once you see somebody being true to themselves, only your ego matrix takes you into the selfish. Who the hell do you think you are? I don't like that. That doesn't work for me. Well, why are you under them and why are they affecting you? This is another part. This is another thing I was thinking about talking about, is that the friends. It's almost like there's a contract with the egos to be identified as similar in agreements. And once you, let's use, there's a common thing of fall in love or attach or have an expectation or admiration and in an attachment. Once that is engaged between two beings, there's a cord that's attaches to both of you. And if one wants to carry lead and one wants to fly, they're not compatible. And there's arguments, right? Like presented out. It's like, well, I'm the ground and I'm gonna stay here, and I'm the sky and I'm gonna stay there. But if you want to create more in the matrix, then there has to be that agreement between high and low, because that's the purpose. That's the left and right merge. If you want to break the matrix, you have to realize that the attachment to that grounded thing was actually you holding on underwater and seeing, observing all the fish. But the second you had documented everything and your mission is over, you gotta let go the lead to float back up to the surface. And that's deep, because now when you think about that, it's like, are we all just hanging on to our lead in observation? Or is it that we want to see the fish happy before we let go? And I'm going to hold on to that one. So the reason why we're holding on to the lead and not letting go is that we wanted to see it happy. Yet, if even at the moment of your happiness and you seeing the absolute truth and you see the opposite, the person, and the person is still projecting, oh, you don't know shit and whatever, cut. Because now I'm understanding, and this is where I am. I'm understanding that even that is a deception to fix. If we're trying to fix it, that's the deception. And if that character in my reality is playing that part and saying, you ain't shit, then that's, if I was attached to that and expected something from that or thought I had to work with that, then that's a trap. Cut. And it's done. Because I am solo man. I don't need no other to approve. And we have to do that. I have to do that. Because there is no other than me. And I accept that it is just that. So I can completely love the movie, love the show, love all the attempts at making sure that I knew who I was. And I congratulate and thank them and hug them and do whatever. But that doesn't mean that I'm tricked anymore in the psychology of, I need you. I don't need no one. When I know that I don't need anyone, I'm collapsing that. This is why I said 2 months ago, I bonded with Earth, because Earth is not a part of the ego matrix. The wasps, the bees, the flowers, the trees, the squirrels, everything has enough to show me a reflection of myself. When I'm in a good mood, the hummingbirds appear. That's a reflection of myself. If the other human beings, the man-to-man who was so unjust, you just didn't know who to trust. Your best friend could be your worst enemy could be your best friend. Some will eat and drink with you, and behind them try to eliminate you. Only your friends know your secrets, and only he can reveal it. Bob Marley, who the cap fits. Now, he sang that song, he sang every single song in vibrational truth. One would say, well, he was bitter, he's been betrayed. Of course, he came, my brother came and experienced the blame game, the shame, and in his songs revealed that vibration of truth. And it's a different feeling when you expect support and when you just know that everything in the universe is in support. It's a mental construct to say, well, I'm going to rely on Mother Nature instead of the ego flesh, contracts with agreements. And not easy. And you cannot mentally conceptualize it. You have to feel this truth to the center of your solar plexus and feel that it's like right now I feel it. And it's not a denial of humanity, it's acceptance of the actors that is. And the ego matrix is the actors. And everyone is a part of it. Yet we have the ability in true the unconditional love, which is basically knowing that nothing is can hurt you and accepting everything as a lesson and seeing the big picture. Then you can become vulnerable again because you know you're provided for. And then what happens to the ego matrix? It has no more attachments to you. It cannot bleed you, it cannot dry you, you have no expectations from it. And this is even your mates. You know, we're deemed successful if we have a strong mate beside us. You have to dissolve all of those things. And that doesn't mean that I don't have these desires, which are still pulling me in to the acceptance of a beautiful life on this planet. Yet, in the conditioning of those programs, it's moving it away. So when I'm saying it, I'm expressing it out there into the convoluted deception, distortion reality, knowing full well it doesn't matter what anybody thinks, and then in it never been done before that you could see in because